Hello, this is Sheila with Diamond Painting with Sheila. Again, we're here to do our Advent for day 2. So I hope you are all doing well today and you're ready to join along with me. So, shall we get started? All right, again, I'll position our day 2. Oh, that's a lot of color today. We have a lot of confetti, so that is good. Different from the yesterday. So anyway, we'll position our sheets so that we have a lot of how we're wanting it. I want to make sure my lines are set so I don't have a lot of problems there. And things look a lot smoother. Sometimes when you're in a hurry and things are not always put on there as smoothly as they should be sometimes. So, and I don't know, if you're like me, you want to make sure you don't have to deal with that lifting up the papers to fix this after you've started. You want to have that all figured out ahead of time. Anyway, I do. So we just about got that done. Okay, so that's why I keep this film on, because I kind of get things kind of messed up here sometimes. So at least I have the film available for me if I need it. So I'll set it off to the side for now because I don't need it while I'm diamond painting. As you can see, we did one the last time, and it was mostly a lot of color blocking there. So, and the drills were very good for that one. So now we're ready to start 2, which is a lot of confetti. So we'll see how that goes today. There's a little bit of color blocking in the green, but not much, just mostly confetti. All right, so our first one will be, well, let's do the green. Let's get it out of the way. And so I get my, get things out here, and I'll pour some green into my tray. And this is what I normally do every time, is I just move the tray back and forth, tap along the side of it, and up and down and back and forth till I get my drills or my diamonds to kind of fall into place on the tray within the little lines that are on the tray, so that I have more of them all sitting up in the right position. And these trays I purchased from Add More Zest. She has her own shop, and if you haven't been out there yet, you should definitely check her out. I put a link to her last time on my last video, but I will include her again this time so that you can check her out and see just where she's at. Okay, I don't know if that might be too much. I don't know if that's quite a bit of light. Maybe I don't want things to be too bright here. Let's kind of take this down just a little bit. I want you all to still be able to see okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead here now, and I'll pull this up. Maybe that will help a little. There. See if that helps. Okay, so we'll get started with our green. Well, with the G, which is part of our green. There's a lot of green in here that is not. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit because you can still see it, but it's a little far away for me. Okay, and there we go. That's better. And we'll get these put in here. And anyway, oops, I just thought I had one there, and I guess I didn't. So I hope you all had a good evening last night, and pardon my sniffles, but I might be coming now with a slight cold. I'm not quite sure yet just what's going on. So we'll just check here and we'll see. So I'm going to wait a couple days and see. I know it's not any COVID or anything like that, because I would know if it was that. I would be feeling worse than that. These are just sniffles, and it could just be allergies. I have a whole lot of allergies, and I've had them all the time, and especially in the fall and the spring. I have a host of allergies, and it could be that. Sinuses are just maddening for me. I have a lot of sinus allergies, and it seems like this past year it's been ongoing a lot of the time. It just like they just never stop. So I don't know. This could still be the same thing. I don't know. But anyway, pardon my sniffling. I'll try not to do too much of it, but I catch myself every once in a while doing that. I try to blow my nose, but you know, it doesn't take. You can blow your nose 100 times a day and you still have sniffles. I don't know. It's just the way it is. So how's everybody been doing? Let me know how your Advent calendar or painting is coming along. I'm so excited about mine. I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm only on day 2, I know, but I'm excited to get into the process and do it. I look forward to it every year. This is my 3rd year of doing an Advent project, so yeah, this is very good. And I had a calendar. I think my first year that I did it. Of course, I was not on a YouTube the last 2 years. This is my first year of YouTube, so no, you guys didn't get to see that, but this is I guess my debut of doing my Advent calendar live on YouTube. Well, I guess it won't be live because I'm videotaping this. I'm doing it live right now but I still have to edit and upload it to YouTube, and that'll have to be done a little bit later, of course. And that's the part I'm still trying to get used to. That's the part that's still pretty complicated yet for me. Haven't grasped the whole thing yet. And you can tell that in my videos, I'm sure, that I am very new at this. And I'm hoping that with time, you'll be able to see that gets better. See that I'm growing. I hope you're going to be able to see how I grow as I go along. That's my goal anyway. I hope I don't stay this way forever. I hope I get better. I haven't learned a lot of the tricks of the trade yet, so I'm hoping to pick them up as I go. And so we'll see how that all works. I'm sure I will pick up some of the tricks better as I go along, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't like that light on, I don't think. Excuse me. Excuse me. Maybe I better try to do it this way. I apologize. I gotta have a drink of water. Maybe that'll help. I've been doing some coughing, so I hope I don't get into one of those coughing jags. That would not be good. So, today is my brother and his wife, my brother Gary and his wife Faye's anniversary. So, I called them this morning and wished them a happy anniversary. They're both just getting over having the winter yuckies, and so they're starting to feel better now, which is very good, but no fun when you're sick, especially around the holidays. It's not a good time at all to feel bad. Anytime, especially around the holidays. So, I hope you're all well and doing good. And I don't know if I said or mentioned to you about my diamond painting pen. You'll see this pen a lot because I use it all the time until it breaks down. I will continue to use it. I love this pen. It fits in my hand comfortably. It came with a plastic tip, but I purchased the metal tip because I'll see if you can see the metal tip here. This is what the metal tip is so much better. So I have a silver tip on mine, and I like it a lot. And then of course I've told you how I use the double-sided tape in mine. On the end I have the straightener. I always have the straightener on mine because I use it quite a lot, but I just love this pen. It fits in my hand just right, and so I use it a lot, and you'll see it a lot in my videos. When you don't see it in my videos, you'll see one other pen that I use, and it will be this one right here. It will be this blue one, because there's only two pens that I do use, and that will be this blue one. And it has the plastic tip that came with it right here. It also has the double-sided tape in it, but you'll notice the end on it has the three-placer on it. And you'll say, well, Sheila, you said you don't use multi-placers, and I don't, but I use this pen when I'm working on my diamond place cards, my new cards that I am putting in my storage boxes. for my rounds and my squares. So I put my diamonds on my card instead of having a color uh, printed on there, or I guess, or a number, I guess, or whatever. I put 3 diamonds at the top, and then 3 more underneath. I have 6 little diamonds there, and then I put the number of the diamond, the DMC number, right there in the middle, with a dash, and I put a R for round or a S for square, and that's how I label my card that goes in my box for my diamond storage. You'll see that as we go along, and because I'll be doing some of that. I'm switching what I have now over to these cards, so you'll be seeing more of that. But this is the other pen that I use for that. And so it's that's the only time I use the multi-placer, is to use for those diamonds. When I put 3 there and 3 there. And I used the double-sided tape at that time too. So I'll show you that process soon. But anyway, this is the other pen that I use. There's 2 diamond pens that I use. I do not have a diamond pen fetish. 2 pens suit me just fine. I don't have a desire to buy any more pens. I'm not like some people who get that urge to, they see a pretty one and they want to buy another one. No. The only time I might buy another one is for a backup for this one, and that would be just like this one. And that would be, I've been looking at one that looks just like this one, same swirls and everything, but it's in green. So I may purchase that. I don't know, but I doubt it. Not for a while. I'm perfectly fine with this one, and I see no signs of problems with this one. So I don't foresee buying that anytime soon, right away anyway. But those are the 2 pens I use, and I will probably not be using any, or you'll not see me use any other pen like that for some time. So I guess I never acquired a diamond painting pen fetish. Some diamond painters do have quite a fetish and just love to get as many different pens as they can. And that's perfectly fine, and that's wonderful. I enjoyed looking at them when they get them. I guess that's where I'll say my fetish for pens come from watching theirs or looking at theirs. I get ideas about, different pens. I think, oh, those are pretty, or I really like that one, or if I get another one, I think I'll get that one, So yeah, it gives you lots of ideas, and that's the whole purpose of not the whole purpose, but one of the main purposes I watch other people's diamond painting shows is to get good ideas to help me better myself with my show, with my videos. So yeah, I think that's wonderful. So I look forward to their pens that they get and their different ideas that they come up with. I enjoy it immensely. So yeah, it's just that I don't need any other pens. I have not acquired the yet. At this time, I'll put it that way. At this time, I have not acquired a pen fetish. Not saying that I won't, because we all know that a woman has the right to change her mind. And I may just do that. You never know. Well, let's see. Have I got all of those? It's kind of hard with these green because there's so many other greens in here too. But it looks like maybe I have. So if I haven't, I'll catch it later. So we'll go ahead and get these put away and get our next group of looks like I kind of okay. Go over here and stick those in here. Now let's see. I think I'm gonna go with next green. Well, let's see. Let's go with the B here and get that done. Not as many of them. So we'll see how that goes. Ooh, this is a pretty green. It's almost like a hunter green. And I love hunter green, so yeah. One of my favorite colors is hunter green. I have several favorite colors, but I love green. Pretty much all greens are my favorite color, but there's a couple shades of green that I don't particularly care for, but almost every shade I've run across I really kind of like. So I'm going to kind of turn this a little bit again so you are aware of that. And I really probably should have the light pad on this. In fact, I may just do that because these are kind of getting harder to see. So if you're going to excuse me just a minute, and I'm going to bring the light pad over. So yeah, it's the light pad is very, very helpful to me and these old eyes. So yeah, I get a lot of use out of my light pad. It doesn't matter which way I go with this small one, so I'm gonna probably just kind of, so maybe I better go this way. Here. And let's see. Okay. And I think we'll just go over here and plug it in for the moment. I think I can do that over here. If not, I'll plug it in somewhere else. But Okay. Let's see here. Maybe I can turn this way a little bit better. Yeah. I think that is going to work a lot better. I can see things much clearer. Oh yes. Very, very helpful. So, yeah, it just was getting too, it was just too dark. Some of these letters are just hard for these eyes to see sometimes. So, yeah, doing much better. I do use the light pad quite a bit on the darker stuff, and it does help quite a bit. So, do you use a light pad? Comment below and tell me if you do, and when do you use your light pad? Or how often? Now, I know some people that use it all the time, and there have been some times I've had to use mine quite a bit. It feels like all the time, but there's been occasions where I haven't had to use it. Things have just been really good. The drill field has just been very good, and I just haven't had to use it. But that's not the case with this one. I know I can tell what this is by looking through the light pad. That's one thing I can see. I wonder if I can fix that, because I really don't want to know what this is. Let's go with. Oh, that hides it a little bit. Not very much, but a little bit. Maybe would this help a little bit better this way? I don't know. Oh, that's defeating the purpose that way. I don't know. We'll try this and see. So, do I have any more bees? I don't believe I do. I think I don't know that that's going to work very well, but we'll see. I don't know that I do. Well, that looks like that's the end of that, so we'll go ahead and put this back. Okay, now maybe I should just kind of try to help this a little bit. Washi tape is not very good, but we'll try. For the moment. And try to keep this so that it does not pop back up over my area that I don't want it to pop over. Because I want to be able to use the light pad, but yet I still want to be able to Alright, well, let's see how that works for now anyway. Okay, so the next one is going to be H. That's in the green also. Looks like I feel like a doctor sometimes, doctoring everything up just so I can, like I say, I never get in a big hurry about anything. I apologize if that's bothers you. It just doesn't bother me at all, but it might bother some people. I hope it doesn't, because I don't think diamond painting should be hurried. I think it should be enjoyed and experienced, and I think that if you take your time with it and just enjoy it, that you get a lot out of it. But you know, that's me. Like I say, not everybody has the same feelings or thoughts about it, but that's how I diamond paint. I like to talk while I work, and before I got YouTube, I could put my phone on speaker and talk to friends, and I can find ways of talking. Yeah. And, friends didn't know that I was diamond painting necessarily. We were just visiting back and forth. Would not say that I was on the phone with them for an hour, or even, well, now some of them maybe 20 minutes, some of them maybe, depending who they were, half hour maybe. I guess I have been. I can be on the phone a long time sometimes. I have been known to carry on a conversation for a long time. But I won't let my, I don't know, I guess I could say that's a good thing in a way, and then it's not in other ways. I don't know. I've never had a problem coming up with things to think of or to say. I've never been at a loss for words. Even when the words maybe weren't as good as they should have been. Not that I swear. I don't mean that. Because I don't, especially that foul language, I don't care for that very much at all. And I believe in being kind. I just think if you're kind to someone, they'll be kind back. I just think that's the way things should be. I don't think we should be mean to each other. I've had some bad experiences, and it's been hard for me to get over. Very hard for me to get over. I don't take that very well at all. And especially when when a person doesn't feel they deserve it, it's just bad. But even if they did deserve it, I don't think it's right, because I don't think that's the way we should treat people. I don't care. I had a grandma and a mom who were very good role as far as role models go. I had aunts and I had uncles who all were loving and well and well guided people, or had good-hearted people, and they had a good heart, and being mean to someone is just not in their, well, I mean, they could be. I'm not saying they couldn't be, but as a rule, for the most part, they just were not that kind of a person. And they believe that what God said is true. That you don't treat people that way. You treat them the way you want to be treated. You follow that golden rule, and you try to be the best that you can be. And if you can't say something nice about somebody, then I just don't think you should say anything at all. And that is a very good rule. So can you all see? I'm hoping you can. I'll try to bring this down just a little bit more. Maybe that will help. You see what I'm doing, I hope. Okay. So, anyway. Like I say, if you be nice to somebody, their chances are they're going to be just as nice back. And maybe if they're not, they're not. But at least you didn't go down the same road they did. You didn't lower yourself to that level that they are, the path that they're on, or the level that they're on. It makes a difference, I think. So now, when I was younger, I'm not perfect by any long shot, but when I was younger, I did, I think not many, on some occasions, have to be both mom and dad to my children, because being mom and dad when you're a single parent is necessary. And you try to do the best you can. Sometimes it's just it's hard, but you do it. You do what you have to do. And when you have, when your child comes home hurting, and you talk to them and everything, and you try to scope out the problem and figure out what's wrong and try to make it better. And yeah, there's been moments where I probably have not been the best at what and could have been better at being a parent. And I've always said I wish that I had done things differently at different times in my life as a parent. But I think we all feel that way. I think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some Some people are good parents and never make mistakes. But I can't believe that to be true because I just don't think there's a perfect parent out there. I think some people do a better job maybe than others, but they're not perfect at it. So if you don't haven't gone through life as a perfect parent, don't beat yourself up. There's many people who are in that same boat with you that know that they're not perfect. They were not perfect either. But you cannot relive that, and you cannot undo that. The best you can do is move forward and just love your children and let them know you love them. They're going to make mistakes as parents too. I don't believe though, and if you ever beat your child, then you definitely better stop and think about talking with that child about that, because that to me is wrong. You should not have done that. You maybe want to let your child know how sorry you are that you did that, and that you regret that, and that you can't undo it, but you are terribly sorry for any kind of beating that you ever gave your child, because I think beatings are not necessary in life. Spankings, yes. Beatings, no. So I have spanked my children. My mother and father have spanked me. I didn't like it as a kid, and I'm sure my children didn't like it as a kid. And but my kids did not grow up being beat by anybody. I wouldn't allow that. I didn't do it to them, and they know that I would never do that to them, and they know that I would never let anyone do that to them. One thing I think my kids always knew as a child, that they could come to me. If they were having a problem, they could come to me. If somebody was being mean to them, or if something was going on that shouldn't be going on, they could come to me. And so that I felt comfortable in that. I knew that. And they knew that. So we didn't, I think they had a pretty good life. I know my youngest daughter, though, she felt like I pushed her into too many activities that she didn't want to really do. And maybe I did. But she wouldn't have done anything. She absolutely would not have done anything. She didn't want to be in Girl Scouts. She didn't want to be in Brownies. She didn't want to be in softball. She didn't want to do, she didn't want to do anything. And she didn't want to be in band. Well, she did want to be in band, but she only wanted to be in it a short time, and then she wanted to quit. But I always told her, both of my girls, if you want to try it out for band, it's not a cheap thing to do. But if you want to, I'm all for that. I have no problem with it. But the one rule is, you go out for band and you find out you do not like it, You follow it through for the whole year. You don't quit in the middle of the year. Um, that was the hard, fast rule in our family. You did not quit it in the middle of the year. You finished it out till the end of the school year, whether you liked it or not. And so if you're gonna take it, if you're gonna do it, and and I had no problems with them doing them, but I wanted to be sure that they did what they did them, and that was perfectly fine. They could try any of that stuff, but and they did. Both of them went out for band. The oldest one, though, carried it a lot further than the younger one did. Uh, the younger one did not like it, so after the first year, she quit. The older one, she went through, I think, 2 or 3 years before she quit, and that was fine. Newspaper routes. Both wanted a newspaper route, so I said they could get a newspaper route. They had to share it together. It was a bigger route, and they had to share it together. One took half, the other one took half. And that if they took it, they had to follow it through for a whole year. They could not just quit in the middle of a year. Oh, were they upset with me when they decided it was too cold to go outside and or it was raining and they didn't want to do their route. And I made them get up, put on their rain gear. Why don't you take us? And I said, no, that wasn't the conditions. I have to work. You have to do the paper route. You put on your rain gear. You get on your bicycle. I know that sounds cruel. Maybe that sounds, but that's now there was 2 or 3 times. I won't say every single time, but there was 2 or 3 times when I did, because of a ball game or something, I did help rush them through a paper route, simply because we were very crunched for time, and we had to get those papers delivered so the kids could meet the softball deadline. So yeah, there were a few times, and there was one time when it was storming pretty good, and of course when it was just rain, it was just a simple rain, and it wasn't thundering and stormy and lightning, then of course, they can do that on their own. But if it was a really big storm or something, of course, I helped them do that. There was no way that I expected them to do that, because they had a deadline to meet, just like anybody else would with a job. So, yeah. I'm not a cold-hearted, cruel person or anything, but I did not. They wanted to quit. I did not let them just up and quit whenever they wanted to. They had to follow it through for a whole year. That was the rule. That was their obligation. That's what they had to do. And so they did. And actually, both of them did not want to leave the newspaper hanging. So they actually found friends who were willing to take over their route when they were ready to quit. So they even helped their friends find a job. you might say, as well as provide the newspaper with help so that the papers were, their customers didn't go without a paper, or there was no interruption or disinterruption in their route. It all went fairly smoothly when they did decide to quit, or when they were able to quit. They decided to quit. They couldn't just up and quit. You gotta make your kids learn as they go, and that's the whole part of being a parent. You can't just let them say, I don't like this, I'm not doing it no more. And then that's the way they'll go through life that way if you do that. But anyway, there was some tough times when the kids, I think, thought, I don't like you anymore, Mom. I'm sure there were those times. What kid doesn't feel that way about their mom or their dad? I think that just goes without saying. You're a parent. You have to expect that. But you have that tough decision. You have to make that tough decision. And you have to make it for them, because they're not thinking like an adult. They're thinking like a kid. And of course they are. They are kids. They're not able to make that decision on their own yet. But you want to help them get to that place in life. So, yeah. And then Girl Scouts. I remember Girl Scouts. Oh, I knew they would enjoy it. I was in Girl Scouts, oh gosh, for a long, long time. And then I even became a leader afterwards. And we had such a good time in Girl Scouts that I thought my kids would love this. And so they both wanted to join. And I thought, this is great. Well, if you're going to join, you have to stay in it for, you just can't drop out. Well, Missy went to my youngest one went to one or two, and she wasn't sure she even wanted to go at all after that. It not a big deal to her. She didn't like it. But I made her stay in it. And we had more fun. We went to places like Six Flags, and we went to St. Louis Arch. We took camping trips, and we took nature hikes. We cooked our food over a Bunsen burner, and we made our own little cook stoves. We just had more fun as a group of kids and two adults, because my aunt and I were co-leaders, and we just had more fun. We did charity projects. We just had so much fun, and we were always doing something for these kids. We kept them very busy, and they had more fun. In fact, I run into one of the girls the other day. She was visiting her mother, and I know her mother, and I happened to go by her mother, who lives in my building. Happened to go by them the other day, and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Well, you sure look familiar." And she told me who she was, and I said, "Well, of course I remember you. How are you? You were in my Girl Scout leading troop." And she said, "Yes, I was." And she said, "I had more fun. I never had so much fun in my whole life." And she says, "I just loved being in Girl Scouts." And I said, "Well, I did too." I said, when I was in Girl Scouts, I loved it, and I loved it being a leader. I had more fun. Um, and we talked for a little while, and it was so nice to see her, and it was very good. We had a good time visiting. Um, but yeah, we did a lot of things. Those are things you don't forget. Those are memories that you're making when you're a kid. And my daughter may not admit it, but she didn't like Girl Scouts, but she did make some good memories. She did have some fun times, whether she'll admit it or not. And some experiences she never would have had otherwise. And so yeah, it was a good one for her. And otherwise, she wouldn't have done nothing throughout her life if her mother hadn't made her. Probably. Because she just was not, she's a quiet, shy type of girl anyway, and still is. But she's coming out of her shell. I will say she's coming out of her shell. She's got three grown boys of her own, and she has, I think, come a long, long way. So yeah, and she's been a really good mama, and she has some beautiful grandkids, and I just love my great grandkids, every one of them. I love my grandkids and my great grandkids. They're just all wonderful, wonderful kids. So, uh, yeah, it was a wonderful. Oh, then there was softball. Oh my gosh, yes, softball. That's another thing. She did not want to join. Well, I don't think either one of them. Well, they did want to join it, but then after they got in it, they didn't want to be in it. But they had to follow it through for a year. And actually, they wanted to be back in it the following year. I'll take that back. Um, Missy might not have. My youngest one might not have, but my oldest one did. And I helped by being an assistant coach on that one. Um, and it was so nice that at the end of the year, uh, we did good. We had a good team the second year. The first year, it was not as good. The second year, it was a really good team. But I always told all the girls, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You do the best you can, and that's all anybody expects you to do. Just do your best. And if you've done your best, then you don't have anything to worry about. So, just you're fine. So, anyway, uh, there was, at the end of the second year, I think it was, I pretty much had the same girls that I had the first year, but they had grown so much in how to play ball. I mean, they just got so good. And so, anyway, I got a ball, the hard ball, softball, that they all signed with their names on it, and I have that in my drawer in my room that I've saved. Yeah, they're good. They were good girls. Always remember them. Yeah, I saw how they grew and mature over 1 year, and the first year how they did not really take softball that seriously. How the second year they really grew and became great little players. And each year after that, oh my gosh, they did so much better each year after that. It was it was remarkable. Some of them have had done so well that they were able to go on and sign scholarships for school at colleges and stuff because they did so well in softball and hardball and stuff. So I mean, they just have achieved so much in their lives through sports and things. And I think, I did not, I was not riding them constantly, and neither was the other coach. But we did expect them to do the best they could. And as long as they were doing the best they could, then that's all that's expected of them. So it's you can't ask for anything more than that. Let's see, what else have I? Oh, I've done some things I'm definitely not proud of, believe me. But we won't go into them over this video because I don't want to be. I wouldn't want to be kicked off of YouTube for something like that. Let's just say I've grown myself over the years. And as a parent, I had to do certain things as a parent because I was the mother and the father. And I had to be tough. And I had a tough job to do, and I did it. Sometimes it was not that pleasant, and my children, they were there with me every step of the way, and I was nothing that I did to them. Well, yeah, they say. We laugh about it now, but I don't do those things now, of course. But I made choices about how I thought things should be, and I guess that's how it should be. If somebody is mistreating your child, or somebody is doing something they should not be doing, Mama Bear comes out. Well, this Mama Bear did come out a few times. Just a few times. But, and I think Mama Bear would come out again if somebody was picking on my grandkids or my great-grandkids. But I feel like I don't have to do that anymore. My job is done. I've been through the parenting part. I'm still going through the parenting part as far as my 2 adult children, at times. I feel like uh, maybe advice is, I consider, part of parenting. Uh, I think you never stop being a parent or giving advice. They don't always have to take it, but it's good for them to at least hear it because they have that option. They can take it or they can leave it, but at least they need to hear it. And then go from there. Um, so, but I try to give my advice nowadays, not in a mean, authoritative way, but in, well, I don't feel like it is anyway. I don't know. I've got a sister who says I talk that way. Or maybe I have talked that way at times. I don't know. It's either how she perceives it or how I give it. I don't know which it is. We're still debating that question. Um, I don't think I do that, but she thinks I do. So, I don't know. That will, that's little subject is still up for debate yet. But we agree to disagree on things. uh, anyway, it doesn't stop us from loving each other. That's for darn sure. Um, I love every one of my brothers and sisters, and I love uh, my mother, my children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. They're all very special to me. Um, and this Thanksgiving, when we got together with my family, my immediate family, uh, the rest of them are all scattered everywhere. Um, I just thank the Lord. When I gave my prayer, I just thanked the Lord for each and every one of them and let him know just how thankful I was that he gave me each one of those children, and he put them in my life because they meant so much they mean so much to me. And I just am so thankful for him as that he is my Lord and he's my Savior, and that I can always count on him. And I thanked him for being always with me each and every day, and I truly believe he does walk with me every day and is always there. So it's been, yeah, I think it's important that we're always kind to each other. If we're kind, we're going to get it back. It will be returned to us. So, how was your Thanksgiving? Let me know in the comment. Uh, I hope it was a wonderful Thanksgiving. Um, we had our family all together, and let's see, my mom, she's was not able to get out. I mean, she's never able to get out. She's in a care facility, and but she has had a stroke about 12 years ago, I think, something like that. And she, for the, maybe the first 5 or 6 years, she would spend part of her time with, well, with my brother, and then part of her time with me each week. And then well, she did spend some time with my sister Kay, too, on occasion. Uh, in the beginning. Um, but Katie worked, and it was hard for her to always be able to do that because of her job. Well, it just worked out that way. She couldn't. Not that she didn't want to, she just couldn't. So, and my other sister was in Arkansas, so it was very difficult for her. She couldn't. But whenever she did come up this way, she always spent a lot of time. Has always and still does spend a lot of time with my mom. So, and she calls Mom, and they talk on the phone, and yeah, we all talk on the phone with Mom a lot, and yeah, it's I go see Mom quite often, and I'm now that when Mom fell this last time, it was very evident that none of us could lift on her anymore. So this past 6 years, she's been in a care facility. It was just, we were just unable to lift on her like we had been doing. Because Mom could, before she fell, Mom could give you some help when she'd have to go to the restroom. She could do some of that herself, so you weren't doing all the lifting by yourself. She was giving you some help. Now she can't, so it's different. But anyway, she's settled in very peacefully. She likes where she's at. She does. She's been there, but like I say, about 6 years, and things have been going pretty good, I guess, for her there. I am her caregiver, so to speak. I make sure she's got everything she needs, and I see her just about every day. There's, unless I don't feel well, like when I have this cough, I'm not over at Mom's, but I am on the phone with her daily. In fact, I've already talked to her today, and sometimes I talk to her 2 and 3 times a day. Her and I just talk all the time. But she's got her own mind. She's in her 90s. She's got her own mind. She's very clear-headed yet. Thank goodness. She shows no signs of Alzheimer's or anything like that, dementia or anything like that. We're very, very, very thankful for that. And like I say, she's in her 90s, and she does very well, except for her mobility. She just cannot manage things because of that. So it's just been kind of a struggle for her, and we feel so bad for her because Mom was a very active woman all of her life, and it was so hard for her to realize that she wasn't going to regain the use of her limbs, her right side anymore. So she only has the left side. Thank goodness it was the left side she has use of, because she's left-handed. So I'm so thankful for that. if it had been her right side or her left side that had been damaged, she had probably been in worse shape than what she is now, because she's always been left-handed. So yeah, it could have been worse. But I love Mom. I go see her often, and make sure she has everything she needs. And so yeah, she is. She's such been a well. She'd been a great mom, an absolute great mom. Growing up, you couldn't have asked for a better mom. Yes, she had to put in a lot of long hours, working overtime and things like that, um, which was, was hard for us as a family, but we didn't have a choice because Dad, and he was on construction. He had a construction business, which took him out of town a lot, and to, on jobs that he bid on and got, so he was working out of town a lot, and um, Mom kept the home fires burning. I mean, she was, and so she would. Dad was putting a lot of his money back into his business, well, in the early days, anyway. I don't, and Mom was working overtime, and it was hard to understand, why she wasn't home at first. It was kind of hard to understand. Mom had to be home, had to be gone. She had to work. Um, so we didn't have that choice. So we all had chores. We all had things we had to do, responsibilities. And so, yeah, I was the one who probably could get by with the least of things to do. My sisters and say, uh, because they're not going to make themselves look bad. They'll make me look bad, of course. But ha ha ha, them silly girls. But I thought, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But they say that they had to do all the work. Well, that is not true. But that's what they say. So, whatever. I just know if you talk to Mom, she's going to tell you a different story. So, I did a lot of, I had a lot of responsibility they weren't even aware of. Things Mom told me I had to do. And those girls just, well, I did get out a lot of dishes. Now that part is true. That part is true. But I had a lot of other responsibilities, let me tell you. And those kids, those sisters and brother of mine, they did not make it easy. When Mom told me to do this or Mom told me to do that, these kids tried to make it as difficult and as hard for me to do exactly what she wanted me to do, because, oh, they just made it difficult. That's because they're stinkers. Not to say I don't love them, though. I do love them a lot. And they are ornery, especially my brother. But, well, I'll say I have a sister that's kind of ornery. And I remember when she was married, well, she's still is married, but when she was married to her first husband, um, he passed away a few years ago, and she has remarried. But, well, when she was married to him, and they lived close to me in the town I lived in at that time, she wanted to do something exciting for his for their anniversary. So I said, okay, well, we can figure that out. So she wanted to be a present. She's going to dress up and be a present for her husband when he comes home. I said, okay. So we dressed her up in tin foil and cellophane, I believe it was, and wrapped her up and put a bow on her and positioned her on the bed because he was about ready to come home. I took all the kids home with me. She left, or we left. She waited for him to come through the door, and when he come through the door, when he come from home from work and come through the door, he went in. He asked, he said something, I don't know, about like, hey, anybody home or something like that. And she said, yeah, I'm in here. So he come in there and saw her, and she said, happy anniversary, or happy Valentine's Day. That's what it was. Happy Valentine's Day. And she smiled or something like that. And he saw her laying there on the bed all wrapped up with a bow on. And he just took a look, shook his head, turned around and walked off and went into the family room, turned the TV on. And she got so mad at him. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. Anyway, I had to yell at him and come back and help her get out of that mess. She couldn't get herself untied out of that present. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. Anyway, it didn't go quite the way she thought it would go. It was so funny. And then there was the time. Oops, let me take this up just a little bit. And then there was the time where we used to do this quite often. I would go out to her house and we'd fix each other's hair and have a gab session and coffee and stuff like that. Well, I fixed her hair and I did a good job, let me tell you. And then we got to the time where it was time for her to fix mine. And I had my head down in the sink there, and she was spraying water on my head to get it wet to wash it. And I had my eyes closed, and I don't know why, I just happened to open my eyes, and I saw these black drops dropping down into the sink, and I pulled my head back and everything, and she started cackling and laughing. She had put black dye on my hair. Oh, that turd. I could have just kicked her back. So I got my head underneath the faucet real quick, and I rinsed it out. But I had a green tint to my hair for a while. And she was on my list, let me tell you. Never forget that. And we laugh about it now. But she was a turd. Oh my gosh, was she. I tell you, I had to watch her every second of the day. She still is a turd. Some days. Well, I don't mean turd, you know what I mean. Not bad, she's just funny. Nothing bad, just funny. We had more fun, her and I. Well, we still do. We still do, because we know everything is in good fun. Nothing is done maliciously. Nothing is done to be mean to the other. It's just all done to be in fun. None of us have ever tried to be mean to the other one. Well, there was one time, I guess I'll have to say my sister, my middle sister, did accidentally, well, she did hurt me one time. And she has never to this day ever done that, anything like that again. And we are the best. We are close, so close, so close. But when we were young kids, Mom and Dad, let's see. The first time Mom and Dad, I was almost 17, I believe it was. And I don't know how old my sister was. She would have been almost 16, something like that. And, or she was 16. Yeah, she would have been 16, yeah, because she's not very much younger than me. Anyway, we were, first time Mom and Dad ever left us alone when they went out of town. And they were going out of town for a anniversary weekend to some friends of theirs in Illinois. Well, we were old enough that we could do that. I mean, you know, who couldn't leave two 16 and 17-year-olds to watch see, my other sister would have been at that time probably 14, and my brother would have been probably 11. So who couldn't do that? I mean, you know, who couldn't leave these kids alone for 2 days? Actually, it would have probably been a day and a half, because they left on Friday and they'd have been back Sunday evening. So, yeah. And we had all the emergency numbers and everything, you know. And then I had a cousin who just lived a half a block from us, her and her husband. So, I mean, you know, we were in very good proximity of anybody that needed help. Every neighbor in the neighborhood knew us. You know, it was just, you know, yeah, we were no problems. Why would there be a problem for something like that? Yeah, go ahead and go, Mom. We can handle it. Sure. Not a problem, Dad. We got it covered. Okay, one of the rules, do not be on the telephone. We're going to call and check on you. Stay off of the telephone. Okay, we'll do that. Here it goes. They're out the door. They're gone maybe an hour. Maybe not even that much. I don't know. Probably an hour. And then my sister's on the telephone. The 16-year-old one, Katie. And I said, get off the telephone. Mom and Dad's going to call and check on us. You better get off the phone. They said not to be on the phone. Oh, you ain't telling me what to do. You know, that kind of thing. I'll get off the phone when I'm ready. I said, get off the phone. You were not supposed to be on the phone. So I just went ahead and I took the phone away from her. I hung it up, and I shouldn't have done that, but I smacked her on the, I think kind of like on the back of the head a little bit or something. I don't know exactly. Made her mad. She went over and she got the Stanley broom, turned around with that thing, and she wonked me good on the head, on the back of the head with that broom, and knocked me out cold. And there was blood coming out of my head. And scared her half to death. She thought she killed me. So she called my cousin and told her she thought she killed me, and my cousin come running over there. And she said, oh my gosh. So anyway, they got me. I was unconscious. I was out like a light. So they got me in the car, and I started coming to, and they took me down to the doctor's, the hospital emergency room. And it just so happened it was our family doctor who happened to be on call there. And so he had me in the emergency room, and he made my sister come in the emergency room with us, the operating room, I should say. And at that time, when you're that age back then in those days, because that would have been in the late 60s, you ratted your hair. You wore the beehives and that kind of stuff. Anyway, here comes this metal comb and rat tail comb, and that doctor, my wonderful doctor that I liked so well, because he was a good doctor, and he made my sister come over and stand beside him, and he made her watch him, or he made her stand there, and then he proceeded to take that comb and comb every rat out of my head and hair, and that hurt terribly. Oh my gosh, that hurt. And then he made her stand there beside him and watch him sew my head up. Every stitch that he put in my head, he made her watch him put in there. And then he gave us a lecture as he was doing it, and he proceeded to tell us that he had better never ever see this behavior from us again, either one of us again, that when our parents tell us to do something, we better do it, and we better not behave like this ever again. And he did not ever want to see us in this kind of a situation again, that we had good parents and they gave us rules and regulations, and we were supposed to follow them, and they were trusting us, and we should be able to, at our age, be trustworthy to follow their rules. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He went on and on and on and on and on. And when we got out of there, we were very sorry that ever happened. And my sister, he made my sister apologize to me, and oh my gosh, it was quite an ordeal. So, yeah, we had quite a time over that deal. And we never ever fought ever again about anything. I mean, we argued, but we never fought. There's a difference. And, yeah, I love her to death, and she the same with me. But we would never ever fight like that ever again. That's just not how we handle things. And we remember that doctor to this day and those words, always. Well, we got this all done, and we're done with day 2. Thank you all for joining me today for Advent diamond painting, day 2. So come back tomorrow and we'll do day 3. Thank you for joining me, and remember to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Share this with your friends. Have them join along with us. Have them try diamond painting if they haven't. I'm sure they'll like it. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Happy diamond painting. Bye, everyone. God bless.